So I haven't seen you other than I think running into you one time since you did the Tonight Show. I heard that was just a smash.
Oh, yeah, that was super fun. It was so weird because it felt like, I've been doing comedy since 2008 or 9. So
Right.
at this point, it felt like that was well past what was, a moment that was going to happen for me kind of a thing. And also, it's like television, everything's changed
But
so
how
much.
old are you? You're a young guy.
I'm 30, and I'm 36 now. But I did it when I was like, I think I was just turned 35, or maybe 34.
Right.
Yeah,
but you were... I mean, that's pretty solid. I mean, for doing comedy and then all of a sudden being young and like, and did you have that feeling like I don't know, to me the Tonight Show is still Johnny Carson. So but I mean, do you still have that comedy feeling like if I do the Tonight Show, this is going to be a big deal?
I mean, when I started, that's how fast everything's changed. It's like when I started comedy, it was like get on Letterman or, Conan was always like my guy, but obviously like the Tonight Show was bigger. But like get on one of those two shows, then you get a TV show, then you get into the movies, and then you're Jim Carrey. Life is great. But all of that's so different now. But it is, I will say there was something about doing it where you feel very much, it was like the first time I felt like I was in show business, you know what I mean? Like you show up, they shuttle you in. There's like paparazzi people and the show that I did happened to be like the highest rated show of the entire year. It had nothing to do with me. It was because it was the last show of the year. They had the Rockettes on. They had James Corden was on before his show was he was like announcing his show was ending on that show, and it was the Jenna Ortega, Wednesday Addams, when that show was like
hot,
blowing up as well. So it was like all of those things together. And then right before I went out on stage, they gave everybody in the crowd a $1,500 e-bike. So like they were just they were like biting their chairs. They were so excited, and it felt very cool. Like, and Jimmy was so overwhelmingly nice, and he's like such a stand-up comedy fan. It was and the weirdest part is you have to do the run through and you have to do your set for nobody because they're like
just
trying
like
to
the stat.
they're trying to block you, like
the
camera guys and stuff. So you're performing for it, but they want you to perform it as if
you're doing
it, and it's so that's the most uncomfortable part. But it kind of helps because.
But did it make you feel weird that like nobody's laughing and there's nobody there?
Of course.
And you're like, I don't know.
And and they're like, look out. So I'm like looking out at empty seats, being like, right, huh? Like trying to thoughtfully pause, in moments and stuff. And the camera guy is just kind of like, yikes, And so that was weird. But then, once I will say this, they're very smart too because they keep you busy the entire time. I had brought my wife Erica with me, and that was, I think, her first time. We had just had our kid Leo, we had just had our baby, so this was like the first time she was out, and so she was complaining to me because she goes, they're doing so many things to you. They're pulling you this way, they're bringing you to this room, they're bringing you to that room, and I go, no, it's the best because they're keeping me distracted.
You don't want to
otherwise
be stressed
you're
out.
just sitting there with your thoughts, and the only time I was nervous because I know it's like this set is going to do well. I've done, 1,000 of these shows, so it'll be okay. And I go, and the crowd's going to be excited. It's just a matter of literally like not tripping on the way out. Like that was the only thing. But standing behind the curtain right when they were like coming back from the break, that was the only time I felt any nerves because in your mind I've been there 10,000 times. I've been like, I'll be on the Tonight Show and I'll wait for they to call my name and the curtains will open. And they just stand there and they're like waiting. The sound guy's like waiting with the curtain to pull it open, and you're just kind of like, all right, well, this is the dream that I've thought about for 20 years. Yeah, and then. In my moment of just kind of collecting my thoughts and breathing, I just happen to look over and like right where you are is just like Lorne Michaels was just standing there and like he just like looked at me and I'm like, okay, all right, well, that just ratcheted things up a bit, and but then and then I went out and it was all they said was they were like, make sure you do two things when you go out. They go acknowledge Jimmy, acknowledge the Roots, and then they get to your mark and do your thing. And my whole thing was like I had my suit and I had it buttoned, so I was like, I just gotta acknowledge Jimmy, acknowledge the Roots, unbutton the suit, and then get into the set. And I kind of like just blacked out for that first part of it where when I watch it back, it's funny. I came out, I'm like finger gunning Jimmy, which was a pure subconscious, did not choose that. I literally give him a finger gun. I say, what's up to the Roots? I go in and then
Did you give the Roots gang signs?
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah. And then I start doing my first joke, and like as they're laughing in the first joke, I kind of like moved a little bit, and I realized like, oh no, my suit is still buttoned, and I have like, a bigger act outs coming, and I can't be like tight. So I literally like said, I don't even remember what I did, but I said a line in it, and like when I got the laugh, I like punctuated it by like opening as if it was all a part of
like
it.
Like you're Rodney Dangerfield?
Yeah. As the punchline hits, I unbutton it. But I did enjoy, a lot of people say like it goes, like a wedding, it goes fast, you won't remember. But I really made myself kind of sit in it, and it felt great. I know I will say
How
though,
proud are your parents?
That's like the most now my parents will tell everybody that I'm a comedian. You know what I mean? Because before it's like people don't. I play the Comedy Cellar, which is the best club in the world, but people don't. Most people have no idea what that is or anything.
Right.
So, but when you say like Tonight Show, at least that for people, and then Fallon was super cool. I got, which again, if you watched Carson, all that stuff, I got the couch invite, which again doesn't mean as much now.
Still,
but it is nice to be there.
If you don't get it, it means a lot.
Yes, exactly. So coming back from commercial break and getting to say goodbye and doing all that, and Jimmy was just like so nice, and he was like, "Come back anytime." He invited me back on.
You should have been like, "I'll be back Tuesday."
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "I'll just wait back. Let's do another one,"